Hi, my name is Lloyd Gross with the Learning Center at Genesee Community College. And in this video, we're going to show you just enough Microsoft Excel so that you can get your homework done. Let's start with a spreadsheet. Now, Microsoft has a number of templates, and you can also download some templates online that you can start with. And let's say that I've done that. One of the first things that I want to do is make sure I save it to my local computer under my own name. And there's a handy dandy little save icon here, but that's not the one I want to use. I want to use a file and then a save as. And when I save it as, I can put my own name on the end and make sure that I'm saving it on my local computer, this PC. So I'll go ahead and do that first before I start any work. Now let's go and look at some work. Navigating the spreadsheet. Now up here is your menu and your ribbon with a lot of buttons on it, but the meat of your spreadsheet is down here. We have columns that are labeled with letters, we have rows that are labeled with numbers, and anywhere where a column and a row intersect, that spot is called a cell, and it's identified by the letter number combination. So this particular cell right here is cell C3. To be able to put information into the spreadsheet, the first thing you have to do is decide where you want that information. So let's look at this allowance. Let's say that I want to put in an additional allowance figure. $800 is what I expect to get for the fall semester, but in the spring semester, I'm going to get $950. So I will click there first, type in $950 and hit enter to make it stick. Oh, you know what? I forgot completely to label this semester. So let's again first click where we want the answer to go and then type in our spring semester. And there it is. And that's how you put information in the spreadsheet. Oh, look at this. Spring semester runs much longer than the column is. I want to fix that. Well, that's pretty easy to do. If I go up to the top in between the two columns, you'll notice that my cursor changes to a double-ended arrow, and I can use that double-ended arrow to make that column wider, as wide as I would like it to, so that it looks pretty. So that's how you put information in and make it fit. Next, let's talk about putting in formulas. And the first thing I want to talk about is, for example, summing up a column of numbers. Excel has some built-in formulas that you're going to use for this. And up here on the ribbon, because it's so popular, AutoSum is right there. If I click on the drop-down, you see there are other options, but sum, if you remember from math class, is adding a column of numbers, and that's what I want to do. So again, starting with my cursor in the cell where I want the answer to appear, I then click on the sum function, and Excel will fill it in for me, and it's usually pretty smart about this. You see my formula starts with an equal, and it says it's going to sum C5 through C8. And the marching ants give you a visual representation. Are those the numbers I want to sum? Yes, they are. I'll just hit enter to make that stick, and there's my total. Let's do the same thing down here. Click where I want the formula to go, then auto sum. Marching ants look good, enter. And I can do that one more time so that I get all of my totals in there. And that's a very common way to put functions into an Excel spreadsheet. Now let's talk about the example where you'd like one cell to be equal to another. So down here in my How Am I Doing section, I want this cell right here, C45, to equal the total income. In other words, I want it to equal that cell way up above. Once again, starting in the cell where I want the answer to appear, I then hit equal sign because this is a formula. And I'm going to go up and just click on the cell that I want to copy. And the marching ants tell me I have the right one. I hit enter, and there's my number. Let's do that again. Equals, this is expenses. That total is right here in C29. And equals, and the school cost total is right here in C40. And now I have all of my numbers. And the nice thing about Excel is, let's say I break my arm in the fall and I have to go to the hospital and it costs me $200. If I put 200 in there, watch what happens to all of these totals. They change automatically for me. Let's look about putting a little bit more complicated function in. This number right here, how am I doing, or the difference, is my income minus my expenses and school costs. So again, start in the cell where you want the answer, hit equals, this number minus this number minus this number. Enter, and there I have my answer. So that's getting information into your spreadsheet. Let's talk about how to make it look the way you want it to look. These two numbers down here, these are both currency. They're dollar values, and I'd like them to look like dollar values. So I'm going to highlight both of them by clicking and dragging, and then I'm going to right-click and choose Format Cells. Lots of options from the right-click menu. What would I like them to look like? Well, I'd like them to look like currency because they're dollars. And now they look like dollars. Oh, but these 6 values up above here, they don't look right now because they don't have any decimal points. So again, I'll highlight the area I'm interested in. I will right-click, choose Format Cells. Now, do I want it to look like currency? That's going to be an awful lot of dollar signs. So I think instead, I'll just have them look like number, but make sure that they have 2 decimal places and use the comma to separate the thousands. I'll get it in OK. And now those numbers look just like my currency format, except without the dollar sign. Most of the things that you'd like to do with your spreadsheet can be done by right-clicking. You'll find that it's very handy in here to change sizes, add comments, insert things. But if you can't find it by right-clicking, you can always find it up here on the ribbon. All of these menus up here have different categories of functions, and the functions are represented down here by buttons. So for example, let's go to page layout. That's how this thing is going to be printed. How do I want my margins? Do I want it to be portrait or landscape? Those are very popular. If you go under data, guess what? Here's the sort button. I can sort A to Z, Z to A, or any other way that I choose. So if you can't find what I'm talking about, what you need to do, and I haven't talked about it, it's up here on the menu somewhere. Just keep clicking around. Oh, insert a picture, insert a graph. There, these things are. Review, do a spell check. All of the options are there on the menu somewhere.